In the narrow lanes of old Lucknow, a little girl named Ameena walked hand in hand with her father after evening prayers. Her eyes sparkled with innocent dreams, of school, books, and maybe someday, reciting poetry at a grand mashera. But fate had other plans. An old enemy of her father, seeking revenge, kidnapped her. The next time she opened her eyes, she was not in her home but in a lavish yet foreign place, a courtesan house. There, her identity was taken, and a new name was given. Umrao Jaan Ada. Years passed. Ameena, now Umrao, was no longer a child. She became the most celebrated courtesan of Lucknow, elegant, poetic, and deeply enchanting. She could silence a room with a single verse, steal hearts with a single glance. Nawabs, poets, and scholars visited her mehfils. But despite all the fame, she felt a strange emptiness. She was admired, not loved. Entertained, not embraced. She once whispered to herself. They love my voice, but would they love my silence? One silent evening, dressed in a simple shawl, Umrao stepped out of the coda and returned to the lane where her story had begun. The houses were older, the people unfamiliar. She stood in front of what was once her home. The door was closed. No one recognized her. A child ran away in fear. A woman called out, "She's from the coda, stay away." Umrao smiled bitterly. That day, she realized. The world forgets names, but never forgets labels. She wandered through the streets, each corner tugging at a childhood memory. The city had moved on, but she was still chasing echoes of a past that no longer welcomed her. She returned to her room, older than ever, but with eyes that still wrote poetry. Fame was fading. The mehfils dimmed. And she asked herself a question that had no answer. Was I ever more than just a performer? One last time, a grand mashera was organized in her honor. The room glowed with candles, music, and murmurs of expectation. Umrao sang that night with a voice soaked in life's bitterness. The crowd wept, not for the beauty of her voice, but for the pain behind it. A nobleman offered her everything, wealth, a home, even marriage. She replied, softly. I no longer search for love, only meaning. The next morning, Umrao wrote a letter addressed to the father she lost long ago. In it, she wrote. I am the same Ameena who once wore pink bangles you gave me on Eid. I cannot return as your daughter, but know this, I never stopped being her. She wrapped the letter around a rose and released it with a white pigeon. That day, she didn't sing. She didn't smile. She simply closed her eyes and listened to silence. No more footsteps echoed from her room. The mistress of the house found her lying peacefully, a soft smile on her lips, and those same pink bangles on her hands. Lucknow awoke to the news. Umrao Jaan Ada has passed away. Some mourned, some whispered sins, and others remembered her for her art. At a small poetry gathering weeks later, a young girl, once mentored by Umrao, stood up and read from her diary. She was a storm in silence. A verse in a world that never listened. And that night, Umrao Jaan Ada lived again, in every line, in every tear, in every woman who ever chose to speak through poetry instead of pain. If her story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because this is Text to Heart, where stories speak to your soul and awaken your spirit.